Khalid bin Walid was in that battle, and the Sahaba saw him, and he was rushing into the battle. Like he was just rushing in, and swords were coming, and it was a situation where the Sahaba were trying to get away from that particular area. But it was as if he was crazy. They said that they saw him and he was rushing, he was going in and out, swords were coming. Imagine there's 10, 15, 20 people that are trying to attack Khalid bin Walid, yet he's going through, rolling around as if he's attracted to a particular goal. And when he finally gets to his goal, it's a helmet that he dropped. So he picks up the helmet and he's rushing back and he's like deflecting, running through, people are chopping, people are trying to attack him in every single way. Imagine arrows are flying, and he finally makes it back to the Muslim line, and the Muslim's like, Khalid, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? You know, like, you almost got yourself killed. What's wrong with you? And Khalid bin Walid's like, in this helmet, I had something more precious than everything I own. They're like, Khalid, what's in your helmet? And he takes and he shows what's in his helmet. And what is it? The hair of the Messenger of Allah, SalAllahuAlaih. And because he didn't want the helmet that had the hair of one hair of the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu on the ground, he went ballistic, going into the battle, doing all this stuff. And literally, it was like a suicide mission, right? Like you could die at any moment with all these swords clanging, one against God knows how many people, just to get his helmet, right? Because it had the hair of the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sahaba, they said that, like, if you saw the Sahaba, they're like, if you saw us, if people saw us in the time of the Messenger of Allah, you would think that they were crazy, right? You would think that they were crazy, right? In fact, the non-Muslims, they would say, we've never seen people love a man more than the way they love the Messenger of Allah. So they said that, they said that the non-Muslims were saying they've never seen a people that when he's making wudu and the water is coming off and dripping off of his blessed body, the Sahaba are catching the water, right? The Sahaba are just catching the water, right? For barakah and putting it on themselves, right? They said that the Prophet ﷺ, when he was getting a haircut, right? When his hairs were coming, the hairs wouldn't even touch the ground. There's so many Sahaba, like literally all over the place, trying to get a hair of the Messenger of Allah, right? For the blessing. They loved him so much, right? And I'll end with this, inshallah. It's one of my favorite stories. It shows you how crazy in love they were with the Messenger of Allah, It's one of my favorite stories. And Sheikh Ibrahim OCE, for those that know him from the UK, he says the story the best. So if you want, you can look it up. The way he says it, it can't be redone. So Sayyidina Abu-Bakr radiallahu anh, it's the middle of the night and he can't go to sleep. And his wife's like, what's going on? What's wrong? And he just can't go to sleep. And it's almost like he's crying and he's just something so upset. And he keeps saying, in English, he keeps saying like his face, your face. And he's saying it over and over again. And finally, he can't take it anymore. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. He walks outside the house and he starts walking down the streets of Medina. And he's walking down and literally he's just talking to himself. He's just saying his face. He's longing for the face of the Messenger of Allah. Now, this is important. Get this part. The Messenger of Allah had not passed away yet. And this is Abu-Bakr radiallahu anhu we're talking about. So he was with the Messenger of Allah from Fajr to Isha. And he was just with the Messenger of Allah. Think about that for a second. At Isha, it's just been a few hours. And the longing, he missed the Prophet being with him so much that he couldn't wait till Fajr time. He just so badly wanted to see and be with the Prophet. This is Abu-Bakr radiallahu anhu, man. So now he's walking down, right? He's walking down and he's saying his face, your face, right? And then it's just ajib. Look what Allah caused, right? The Prophet ﷺ just happened to be, and nothing just happens to be, right? Nothing's, just by chance. Allah caused the Prophet ﷺ to be walking in the middle of the streets of Medina, 3 o'clock in the morning. So the Prophet was looking at him. He's like, "Yeah, Abu Bakr, why are you up? What brings you out of your home at this time of the night?" And Abu Bakr says, "Ya Rasulullah, I wanted to see your face. I wanted to see your face." And the Prophet is like, is that it? Like, is that the only reason? And Abu Bakr confirms. And imagine, as they're having this conversation, this is ajib, this is amazing. As they're having this conversation, Umar radiallahu anh is walking in the streets of Medina, and he's saying the same thing. He's saying, "Your face, your face, your face." So then he comes, and the Prophet says, "Yeah, Umar, what brings you out at the middle of the night?" And he says the same thing. And then the Prophet makes dua for them, right? But look at this. Like, it makes sense. Why was Abu Bakr the first Khalifa and Umar was the second Khalifa, right? Like, look at the ishq. This is ishq. They talk about, in Arabic, there's a word called ishq, longing, shawq, right? Longing. You're longing. You can't wait to meet your beloved. Man, can you imagine 10 p.m., 11 p.m., you go home and you can't wait till Fajr. You start going crazy. You can't wait till Fajr. So you start roaming the city, just saying, "Your face, your face, your face." Like, even romantic lovers don't do that, man. So we'll end with that, inshallah. I hope this gives a tiny little glimpse. Inshallah, jazakallah khairan for joining. This is called Glimpses of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inshallah, we're going to try to continue this, inshallah. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وإلى حضرة النبي سيدنا محمد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة.